Here's how I made $96,000 and $469 in profit, not in revenue, in profit in the last 30 days at 23 years old. So I run a company called getlistings.com where we help real estate agents get more listings with YouTube ads. And July 2024, we hit our best month. So we collected 147K in cash collected. We went basically from 93 to 147 cash collected. And then we went from 60K profit to 100K profit, keeping a 65% profit margin, which isn't bad. So I'm going to show you how I did it. So hopefully you can learn from my mistakes and you can also potentially just scale your own business as well, right? So first thing I did that really helped was increasing my closing rate from 32% to 48%. So we closed 30 deals. So one deal a day in July, which is pretty sick. Now, how did I go from 32% to 48%? Because that's like half of the prospect I speak to, I closed, which is pretty insane. I thought this would like never be possible in the first place. At this point, there's a couple of things. At this point, I'm so dialed in, you could wake me up in the middle of the night and I could handle any objection and close like the prospect on the spot. The other thing as well that contributed to that increase in closing rate was after 5 months of being back-to-back on demos, a lot of prospects just come back and are ready to go. The other thing is also my consistency and my energy, tonality on each call. So one thing I talked about in another one of my videos was the fact that before I wasn't really that consistent and, I was like traveling, I was like moving. There's a lot of things like going on at the same time. Now that I think about it, actually moving in a new environment probably helped as well because, new environment, new habits, and you're the product of your environment. So in July, that's actually when I moved to my new place, funnily enough. I thought this was like gonna hinder my success, but it actually pushed me to reach a new level in my performance. But the fact that I don't travel, that was a big key because I used to travel maybe every like 3 to 4 months. And just the fact that I need to, step out, step in again. I'm in a new environment. I'm thinking about other things. I'm not like on my routines. Like this has a big impact on sales. It's all about like what you do in your off time when it comes to sales performance. It's not really about like on the calls. It's about what you do off the calls that I've noticed is more important. So that's that. The other thing that really helped is the timing of the year. It may have had an impact, even though like most people say, July and August are supposed to be the worst months of the year. Well, for us, maybe it helped because prospects feel the urge to actually reach their goal. They're not on track, right? Because we're halfway through the year. The other key that I think really, really helped to reach 100K in profit last month was increasing our email broadcasts to 1 a day. Now, I used to think that this would bother my list. People like 1 email a day, like, man, that's just too many emails. But you know what? Like, I actually seen the benefit of that. Okay. So if you're hesitating, just increase your email broadcast. Like you don't have to go to 1 a day right from the beginning, but it definitely helps to increase it because it's just more retargeting. You're nurturing them more, right? So that's how I did it. 28 of those closed deals were from me, and then 2 were from my closers. So we just hired like 2 closers. One of them unfortunately wasn't a fit, so we let him go. And then we currently have another closer right now. Now, what's next to scale? Like how do we go from 100K profit to 200K profit, right? And how do we go from 150K in cash collected to 300K in cash collected? Well, this is going to be about hiring closers, okay? Because I did it myself. I did 100K profit just being the one taking the calls. But by having 2 people, technically it should just double the business. From where I'm at right now, I really crack the code when it comes to sales. So it's just about doing more of what already works, right? So by far, becoming like a better leader and a sales manager will be the biggest, is going to be like the place where I can spend my time and have the biggest, lever to get more leverage. So the other thing that happened is, funnily enough, of course, when you make a lot of sales, you break your fulfillment, right? So we hired another CSM. And I'm also restructuring our client journey so we can handle more clients. So making things more efficient so that we have to think less about what we do for certain clients. Just making sure that basically all clients can fall into one bucket, which is basically they come in for a certain outcome. When your clients sign, like if you have like so many different clients, that fall into different buckets because they want different transformations, right? Or they have different mechanism to get that transformation, then it's super hard to scale. So we're reducing that to just one bucket, one client journey, and making sure everything is streamlined so everybody basically knows what they need to do. Okay. The other thing as well is that, like I said in my previous video, I think a lot of agency owners, especially, they focus on systems, automations. Man, how can I automate this? I'm like, dude, you're trying to automate something that literally takes, like, you're spending more time automating it than the time it would take you to do it manually, right? And most of the time it's just like all these apps, they always break. You know, you need someone to check in on them, or the systems are not working. So I really preach, and that's something I realized, because I used to be that guy obsessing over systems, right? And sometimes I catch myself, I'm like, oh, don't go there. Like, you're trying to optimize something that doesn't need to be optimized, or systemize something that doesn't need to be systemized. So simple systems over everything, right? If I can have it down in a Google Sheet, I'll do that. And a lot of people don't agree with me on that, but that's fine, because I'm making more money than them. So I know my shit works. And I also value simplicity. So, you know, you value maybe different things, right? If your goal is to be super automated, maybe that's one of your values, then yeah, so be it. Like for me, one of my values is I'm a simple guy in person in general. So I like when things are simple so that I really can understand, and it can also scale, you know, faster. One thing I wanted to say regarding that is, because I've been so focused on sales, I wasn't able to be as present when it comes to my fulfillment team. So now I'm going to go back and focus like 90% of my time, instead of on sales, now I'm going to be focusing that on helping the closers and the CSMs reach their full potential. So I'm going to basically switch from like being in the field to being a coach, right? So sales manager, client success director, which is a skill that I lack right now. So I'll need to do, like, you know, be groomed to be becoming like a great leader, I guess, or a great manager. And I'm excited for that. In an ideal world, I would still take a couple demos to ensure like quality control, not quality control, but ensure like a control, like, you know, that there's no variations without me being involved. But I've found it hard to be a player coach, you know, because I know my closing rate is consistent, right? So if I stay on the field, at least for the time that I'm ramping up the closers, then, you know, the business doesn't like fall, if that makes sense, or the sales don't go down drastically. So the thing I realize is that I'm realizing right now is like, I can't be the best coach I can be if I'm not available like on demand for my players, if that makes sense. Because if they need me like on the spot and I'm like taking a demo, I can't help them, you know? So it's really hard to like do both. I was thinking of doing maybe a couple days a week, or just like taking calls in the morning only. But again, it's hard to switch from that mindset of, okay, I'm in the field, to, okay, I'm a coach now, right? To make that switch, because it's like two different skills. And I think about two different things. It's just hard to like, you know, flip from task to task, I guess. So we'll see. I think like still the best way is maybe for me to take a couple calls, maybe like once a week or something. I guess it'll depend on how quickly we can get the closers to be ramped up in KPI. So that is pretty much it. I'm excited. And then from there, I think, I don't know, because I've never done it, but I think like to go from say 100K profit to 200K, 300K, 400K, 500K profit, it's just going to be the same of what we're currently doing right now, which is going to be like more closers, more CSMs, and, you know, just scaling that, potentially having a back end program as well on the back end. So that's pretty much it for this video. Hope you got some value out of it. If you did, then you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you didn't, well, you know, you don't need to subscribe to the channel, and then you can move on to the rest of your day. All right, I'll catch you soon.